This video was supposed to be like dark and gloomy and creepy. I only have one little light on me, and it just lights up the entire room because the walls are so white. And it's just like, whoa, it's bright. That's why I stay awake all night. That's it. Hi guys, so today I'm going to be telling you some scary stories. Ooh, that was my ghost sound. That people have actually gone through themselves, or they claim that they have been through these experiences and they're very scary. I know you guys are like, whoa, Madison, you need to chill out a lot because Halloween was like 8 years ago. I just didn't get around to filming this video around Halloween, and I really wanted to, so I'm just gonna do it now. These stories are supposedly true, and they're from true, real people, if that's a thing. You can get scared any time of the year, let me tell you. So the website I found is thoughtcatalog.com. I guess people put their thoughts on there, and it looks like a catalog. That's what it is. And the title of the entire thing is 21 People Share Some Creepy and Completely True Stories That Will Make You Sleep with the Lights On. Okay, so that was that scary? I thought that was pretty scary. So the first story I'm going to be reading is called, you can probably see the bags under my eyes, The Vacation Ghost. My parents were on their honeymoon to Key West. I've been to Key West before. When they arrived at the hotel to check in, they were told the room would be non-smoking. What a tragedy. With my dad being a smoker, they requested a different room. It's getting intense. They got the room switch and went to their room. The room switch. As they got off the elevator, the smell of fresh paint was overwhelming. Down the hall, there was a painter with all necessary supplies laid out around him and was painting the wall. Okay, so there was a painter painting a wall. Wow, really scary? As my parents walked past him, they casually greeted him, and the painter had absolutely no acknowledgement of their presence. How rude. Whatever. Me. When they got to their room, the smell of paint was even worse in there. So bad it wasn't even bearable, so they decided to go to the front desk to change rooms. They had to change rooms again. This is so traumatic for them. It must have been so horrible. When they explained the situation, the attendant looked very confused and informed them that there wasn't a scheduled paint job on that floor for that day, but agreed to change their room. Is it a ghost? My parents go back to their floor and grab their luggage, and the painter is completely gone. He's gone. It's a ghost. Oh, wow. All supplies cleaned up and gone within 10 minutes, and the smell of paint was completely gone. At this point, my parents were freaked out, but didn't think much of it and go to their room. The next morning on their way to breakfast, they overhear a tour guide talking to a group. Tour guides. Don't get me started on those tour guides. My parents tuned in when the guide mentioned the floor that they were originally supposed to stay on. Apparently a long time ago, there was a painter on that floor painting and fell down the elevator shaft to his death. Death. The final frontier. That's not what it is, but okay. Now my parents don't normally believe in the paranormal, but after an event like this, they had no explanation for it. Freaked them out a good bit. A ghost painter that didn't do anything except paint. A paint smell does not go away in 10 minutes. I know, because I painted this entire room myself. That does not go away. I don't know what that is. False. The rocking horse. One night, when I was maybe 10 or 12, I had trouble falling asleep. Ugh, that's me every day, girl. My bedroom was the entire top floor of our house, with my bed and such being on the left side and storage closets and play area being on the right. I was lying in bed when I heard a noise from the other side of the room and see a rocking horse begin to rock. I'm pretty sure that's how it sounded. I was sitting just outside one of the storage closet doors. It proceeded to rock its way halfway across the room and stopped dead under the ceiling light. At this point, I was freaking out and just buried my head under the blankets and never peeked out again until morning. Great ending? Great. That was so anticlimactic. My mom was almost abducted. Is it by aliens? Is it by ghosts? Let's find out. My mother, who doesn't believe in any sort of hokey nonsense, once told me a story where one night her and a couple friends were driving home one night after hanging out. No drugs or alcohol involved, of course. She was probably lying there, girl. They were crossing a bridge when suddenly their car died, and then all the streetlights cut off. Then they heard a throbbing sound like a large engine idling, and saw a flash of lights cross overhead rapidly. It was aliens. It was aliens. A few moments later, all of the lights came back on, and then car started back up immediately. And then car. Great grammar. A bit unnerved, they continued home. A few days later, the Pascal abduction story was on the news. Apparently, they encountered the same craft that supposedly took those two men, who were also probably drunk or drugged up. The end. Worst apartment ever. Dun dun dun. That's a really scary title in itself, isn't it? Before I was born, my father and mother had a small apartment together. My mother told me once she went into the basement and saw a woman standing at the base of the steps just staring up at her, and then she just vanished. That actually is that's really creepy. Then my father was in the shower, one with a sliding glass door that you can barely make out what's on the other side, when a large figure walked up to the other side of the glass and banged on it, making it blow out. My mother found him in the fetal position in the shower covered in glass, and no one was around. That last one made them move out. He confirmed it happened, but doesn't like to talk about it. He's a relatively tough dude, so for something to scare him that much means a lot. Somewhere in between those two occurrences, they came home to find absolutely everything moved over about an inch. I would not have known that. How would you... Okay, they realized this because they're not very good at dusting. The end. That one was the creepiest. Now I feel like... The hand. I was 14 and sitting by myself in my living room playing some Halo. Yeah, man, I love Halo. Yes. I've never played Halo in my life. When I noticed that the room around me seemed oddly quiet, I paused the game and tried to listen for the difference. It was strange. My house is over 100 years old, and usually there's an odd creak audible from somewhere nearby. Not now, though. It was dead quiet. I felt strange, but not threatened. There was something sinister about the silence. If there's something sinister about the silence, then you do feel threatened. Don't lie. Don't lie. It's a guy talking, so he's like, I wasn't threatened, like, I can take them. I sat for a few more minutes just listening. It almost felt peaceful, actually. Then I suddenly felt a hand on my shoulder, very lightly and briefly, but even today I still remember the distinct feeling of a hand on my shoulder. It didn't scare me, nor did I jump up in surprise. I actually felt a familiar presence, like family. I don't like this. I'm freaked out now. I mentioned the experience to my mom, and she told me she'd experienced the same thing, only one room over. She says she felt her father's presence with the hand. The end. And the next story, which looks really scary and truthful, is called A Legit Sock Demon. Here we go. Better get yourselves ready because I'm sure this is going to be really creepy. It was like 2 a.m. I took my clothes off and went to sleep. A minute later, something hit me at my head. It was one of my socks. When I take them off, I throw them in the corner of my room, so someone threw it back at me. But there was no one in my room. I was alone 100%. May not sound so scary, but it was for me. The legit sock demon. Wow, that seems pretty legit to me, Alright, so I think I'm just going to read one more. The last story is called, Don't Go After That Ball. Don't. Here's one. Here's a story I have for you. I had a good friend die when I was 10. We'll call him John. Jon. He died pretty tragically, too. He was hit by a car literally straight in front of my house when he was chasing down a ball that bounced into the road. Oh, that's Okay. Fast forward 7 years. I'm babysitting my little sister and she's playing outside. I'm on the porch swing reading and she's shooting hoops on the little Tykes hoop. I had one of those. Those were pretty bomb though. The ball bounces out into the road and I look up to see her yell, "Don't go after that ball, John!" Oh, wow. Freaked the beep out of me. She never even knew about John. I asked her who John was and she said that he would play with her sometimes outside. No. But yeah, that's all for the stories that I'm going to tell for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next week.